Hey everyone, welcome back. 7 things bad people do when they know you know. Stoic Philosophy. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." But what happens when that enemy realizes you've seen through their mask? Today we're diving deep into the dark. Psychology of manipulation and how the ancient Stoics prepared us for these exact moments. Stick around, because what you learn in the next minutes could change how you handle toxic people forever. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, we explore timeless wisdom for modern problems. Today's topic hits close to home for many of us. Those moments when someone who's been manipulating you suddenly realizes you're onto them. The ancient Stoics faced the same human nature we deal with today. From the scheming politicians of Rome to the false friends in Athens, they understood that some people will always choose the path of deception. But more importantly, they gave us the tools to handle it. Before we jump in, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. This video is part of our ongoing series on Stoic psychology, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Here's what we're covering today. 7 specific tactics that manipulative people use when they know you've figured them out, and how Stoic philosophy arms you with the perfect response to each one. From gaslighting to victim playing, we'll break down the psychology behind these behaviors and give you practical strategies rooted in 2,000-year-old wisdom. Section 1. The Foundation. Understanding the Stoic Mindset. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah worked at a marketing firm where her colleague, Mark, had been taking credit for her ideas for months. At first, she thought it was just miscommunication. But then she started paying attention. Really paying attention. She noticed the pattern. Mark would sit in on her brainstorming sessions, take notes, then present her concepts to their boss as his own. When Sarah finally confronted him privately, something shifted in Mark's demeanor. He knew that she knew. What happened next is exactly what we're going to explore today. But first, let's understand why the Stoics were so well equipped to handle people like Mark. The Stoics understood 3 fundamental truths about human nature. First, we cannot control other people's actions, only our responses to them. Epictetus, who went from slave to philosopher, learned this lesson the hard way. He taught that focusing on what others do is a guaranteed path to suffering. Second, some people will always choose the path of vice over virtue. Marcus Aurelius, literally the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, wrote extensively about dealing with liars, cheats, and manipulators. He didn't do this from a position of weakness. He did it from experience. Third, maintaining your own integrity while dealing with toxic people is the ultimate test of character. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Sometimes recognizing someone's true nature is the beginning of your freedom. When a manipulative person realizes you've figured them out, they enter what psychologists call damage control mode. Their mask has slipped, and they know it. This triggers a predictable set of behaviors designed to regain control of the narrative, make you question your own perceptions, punish you for seeing through them, protect their reputation with others. The Stoics called this the theater of virtue. When someone performs goodness rather than embodying it, they understood that the performance becomes most dramatic when the audience starts to see through the act. Section 2. Tactic 1. Gaslighting and reality distortion. The first thing bad people do when they know you know is gaslight you. They'll make you question your own memory, perception, and sanity. This isn't just lying. It's systematic reality distortion. Back to Sarah's story. When she confronted Mark about stealing her ideas, he didn't just deny it. He said, "Sarah, I'm worried about you. You seem to be having trouble remembering our collaborative process. Maybe you should talk to HR about the stress you've been under." Notice what happened here. Mark took Sarah's legitimate concern and turned it into evidence of her supposed mental instability. This is gaslighting 101. Gaslighters do this because they understand something crucial. If they can make you doubt your own perceptions, they maintain control. They're essentially saying, your reality is wrong, and I'm the authority on what's really happening. The Stoics had a beautiful concept called catalepsis, the ability to grasp reality clearly and hold on to it firmly. Epictetus taught his students to trust their rational faculties and not let others shake their confidence in their own perceptions. Here's your Stoic toolkit for dealing with gaslighting. Document everything. Marcus Aurelius kept detailed journals not just for self-reflection, but as a record of events. Start keeping records of conversations, emails, and incidents. The Stoics believed in the power of objective truth. Trust your inner compass. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Your rational mind is your ally, not your enemy. Don't jade. This is a modern acronym that perfectly captures Stoic wisdom. Don't justify. Argue, defend, or explain. When someone is gaslighting you, engaging in lengthy explanations just gives them more ammunition. Use the dichotomy of control. Ask yourself, can I control whether this person accepts my version of reality? The answer is no. What you can control is your commitment to truth and your response to their manipulation. Here's a simple exercise the Stoics would approve of. When someone tries to gaslight you, pause and ask yourself 3 questions. What do I actually remember happening? What evidence do I have to support my memory? What would I advise a friend in this situation? This rational approach cuts through the emotional manipulation and keeps you grounded in reality. Section 3. Tactic 2. Playing the victim. The second tactic is perhaps the most infuriating. They flip the script and make themselves the victim. Suddenly, you're not the person who was wronged. You're the aggressor, the bully, the unreasonable one. Let me share another story. David had a business partner, Alex, who had been secretly funneling money from their joint venture into his personal accounts. When David discovered this and confronted Alex's response was immediate and dramatic. "I can't believe you're accusing me of this. After everything I've done for this business, after all the late nights and sacrifices, you're treating me like a criminal. You know what? I'm starting to think you've been planning to push me out all along." Notice the complete reversal. Alex went from being the thief to being the victim of David's supposed betrayal. This tactic works because it triggers our natural empathy. Most decent people feel uncomfortable when someone appears to be hurt, even when that someone is the one who caused the problem in the first place. It's emotional manipulation at its finest. Marcus Aurelius dealt with this constantly in his role as emperor. He wrote, "How much trouble he avoids, who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does, but only to what he does himself." The Stoics understood that people who constantly play the victim are actually revealing their character, not concealing it. Seneca wrote about this extensively, noting that true victims don't need to perform their victimhood. It's evident in their actions and character. Stay focused on facts. When someone plays the victim, they're trying to move the conversation from facts to feelings. The Stoic response is to gently but firmly redirect to the actual issue. Example, "I understand you're upset, but we need to address the fact that money is missing from our account." Don't take the bait. Victim players want you to either comfort them or get angry at them. Both responses give them control. The Stoic response is to remain calm and focused on the original issue. Use the view from above. Marcus Aurelius had a practice of imagining himself from a cosmic perspective. When someone is playing the victim, step back and see the bigger picture. Ask yourself, what would this look like to an objective observer? Practice sympathia. The Stoics believed in the interconnectedness of all things. This doesn't mean enabling bad behavior, but recognizing that the person playing victim is actually trapped in their own dysfunction. You can have compassion for their situation while still protecting yourself. Here's a Stoic-inspired script for dealing with victim playing. "I can see you're upset, and I don't want to add to your distress. However, we still need to address the specific issue. I'm willing to discuss solutions, but I need us to stay focused on what actually happened and how we move forward." This approach acknowledges their feelings without accepting the victim narrative, and it keeps the focus on resolution rather than drama. Section 4. Tactic 3. Love bombing and fake remorse. The third tactic is perhaps the most seductive: love bombing and fake remorse. When they realize you've seen through them, they suddenly become the most loving, apologetic, and attentive person you've ever met. This follows a predictable pattern. You discover their bad behavior. They sense your awareness. They launch a charm offensive. You start to doubt your own concerns. They gradually return to their old patterns. The cycle repeats, but now you're more invested. Maria discovered that her friend Lisa had been spreading rumors about her for months. When Maria confronted Lisa, the response was immediate and overwhelming. "Oh my God, Maria, I'm so sorry! I've been going through such a hard time, and I guess I was jealous of how together you always seem. You're such an amazing friend, and I don't deserve you. Please forgive me. Let me make it up to you. I'll take you to that expensive restaurant you love. My treat." Within 48 hours, Lisa was back to her old patterns. But now Maria felt guilty for doubting her friend's genuine remorse. Love bombing works because it triggers our reward systems. After experiencing conflict and stress, the sudden influx of positive attention feels incredible. It's like emotional junk food. It tastes great but leaves you malnourished. The Stoics were masters at distinguishing between genuine virtue and performed virtue. Seneca wrote extensively about this, noting that true character is revealed not in grand gestures but in consistent, small actions over time. Marcus Aurelius warned against being swayed by temporary performances. Observe constantly that all things take place by change, and accustom yourself to consider that the nature of the universe loves nothing so much as to change. Judge by actions, not words. Epictetus taught that we should judge people by their actions over time, not by their words in moments of crisis. Ask yourself, what pattern do I see when I look at their behavior over months and years? Implement the probation period. This is a practical Stoic approach. When someone shows remorse, don't immediately return to full trust. Give them time to prove their change through consistent actions. Practice negative visualization. Imagine this person returning to their old patterns. How would you feel? What would you do? This isn't pessimism, it's preparation. Use the dichotomy of control. You can't control whether their remorse is genuine. You can control how you respond to their actions going forward. Here's something crucial the Stoics understood. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, and it doesn't mean returning to the same dynamic. Seneca wrote about forgiveness as a gift you give yourself, not a contract you sign with the other person. True forgiveness might look like, I forgive you for my own peace of mind. I release my anger, but I've learned who you are. I wish you well, but from a distance. When someone love bombs you after you've discovered their bad behavior, ask yourself, what specific actions would demonstrate genuine change? What timeline would I need to see these actions consistently? What boundaries do I need to maintain regardless of their apologies? Section 5, Tactic 4, Projection and Deflection. The fourth tactic is projection and deflection. When caught in bad behavior, they immediately accuse you of the very thing they've been doing. It's like they're holding up a mirror and saying, "No, you're the problem." Projection is a psychological defense mechanism where people attribute their own thoughts, feelings, or behaviors to others. When someone is caught lying, they might say, "You're the one who's always dishonest." When caught cheating, they might accuse you of being unfaithful. Tom discovered that his business partner, Jake, had been secretly meeting with competitors and sharing confidential information. When Tom confronted Jake with evidence, emails, meeting schedules, and witness accounts, Jake's response was immediate. "You know what, Tom? You're the one who's been acting suspicious lately, always checking up on me, questioning my decisions. I think you're projecting your own guilt onto me. What have you been hiding?" Notice how Jake took Tom's legitimate concerns and turned them into evidence of Tom's supposed wrongdoing. Deflection serves multiple purposes. It shifts focus away from their behavior. It puts you on the defensive. It creates confusion about who's actually at fault. It can make you doubt your own moral standing. Marcus Aurelius dealt with this constantly in Roman politics. He wrote, "Whenever you want to cheer yourself, consider the good qualities of your companions." But he also understood that some people consistently project their own darkness onto others. Seneca had a beautiful insight about this. Every guilty person is his own hangman. He understood that people who project are actually revealing their own inner turmoil and self-condemnation. Stay centered in your own character. When someone projects onto you, the Stoic response is to return to your own moral inventory. Ask yourself, do I recognize this accusation in my own behavior? If not, dismiss it. Use the discipline of desire. Epictetus taught that we should desire only what is within our control. Don't desire their acknowledgement of your innocence. Desire only to maintain your own integrity. Practice the view from above. Imagine watching this interaction from a distance. What would you see? Usually, you'd see someone desperately trying to avoid accountability by pointing fingers. Don't jade, justify, argue, defend. Explain. When someone is projecting, lengthy explanations just give them more ammunition. A simple, "that's not accurate," is often more powerful than a detailed defense. Here's a Stoic-inspired way to handle deflection. I notice you're bringing up concerns about my behavior. I'm open to discussing those at another time. Right now, I need us to address the original issue. Are you willing to do that? This acknowledges their deflection without taking the bait, and it keeps the focus on the actual problem. When someone projects their behavior onto you, take a moment to honestly assess if there's any truth to their claim. If not, remind yourself that their projection is information about them, not you. Return focus to the original issue. Maintain your boundaries regardless of their deflection tactics. Section 6. Tactic 5. Smear campaigns and reputation attacks. The fifth tactic is perhaps the most damaging. When they realize you know who they really are, they try to destroy your reputation before you can damage theirs. This is the scorched earth approach. If they're going down, they're taking you with them. A smear campaign typically involves spreading lies or half-truths about you to mutual friends, colleagues, or family, rewriting history to make themselves look like the victim, using your own words against you by taking them out of context. I understand that he said, she said situations are complicated, and I'm not asking anyone to take sides. I'm simply asking that you consider the source and the evidence before drawing conclusions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." When someone launches a smear campaign against you, they're giving you the opportunity to demonstrate your character through your response. Section 7. Tactic 6. Triangulation and divide and conquer. The sixth tactic is triangulation, using other people to fight their battles and maintain their position. Instead of dealing with you directly, they manipulate others to do their dirty work. Triangulation involves getting mutual friends to mediate or pressure you to back down, using flying monkeys, people who unknowingly carry out their agenda, creating drama between you and others to distract from their own behavior, playing victim to others while portraying you as the aggressor, using information from others to manipulate you. Rachel discovered that her sister Emma had been stealing from their elderly mother's bank account. When Rachel confronted Emma, Emma didn't deny it directly. Instead, she went to their brother Mark and their cousin Julie with the story. "I'm so worried about Rachel. She's been accusing me of terrible things, and I think the stress of Mom's situation is making her paranoid. She's always been jealous of my relationship with Mom. Could you talk to her? I'm afraid she's going to destroy our family over her delusions." Soon, Rachel was getting calls from family members, telling her to stop being so suspicious and to think about what this is doing to the family. The focus shifted from Emma's theft to Rachel's unreasonable behavior. Triangulation is effective because it creates social pressure to conform. It makes you feel isolated and outnumbered. It gives the manipulator plausible deniability. It exhausts you by forcing you to fight multiple battles. It makes you look like the problem to outsiders. The Stoics understood group dynamics and social pressure. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." When someone uses triangulation, they're revealing their weakness, not their strength. Epictetus taught about the importance of maintaining your own moral center regardless of social pressure. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Don't fight on multiple fronts. Choose carefully which battles to engage in. You don't owe everyone an explanation or defense. Speak truth, simply, when flying monkeys approach you. Give them the facts once clearly and calmly. Don't get drawn into lengthy debates or emotional appeals. Identify the source. Always remember that the flying monkeys are often good people being used. Your real issue is with the manipulator, not their unwitting agents. Use the discipline of action. Take appropriate action based on your values, regardless of social pressure. If someone is stealing, report it. If someone is lying, document it. Don't let the crowd determine your moral choices. Create boundaries. You can say to flying monkeys, I understand you're trying to help, but this is between me and person. I'm not going to discuss it further. One crucial Stoic principle: control what information you share and with whom. The triangulator is using your own openness against you. Practice strategic information sharing. Script for flying monkeys. I can see that has shared their perspective with you. I appreciate that you care about both of us. However, I need to handle this situation directly with them. I'm not going to discuss the details, but I want you to know that I'm acting from a place of principle, not emotion. Remember that people who use triangulation eventually exhaust their social capital. Others start to notice the pattern of drama that follows them. Your job is to maintain your integrity while this plays out. Section 8, Tactic 7, Escalation and Intimidation. The seventh and final tactic is escalation and intimidation. When all else fails, they resort to threats, anger, or other forms of intimidation to regain control. This is their nuclear option. Escalation can include verbal threats or intimidation, legal threats, often empty ones, threatening to harm themselves, threatening to destroy relationships or careers, explosive anger and rage, stalking or harassment, financial threats, social media attacks. After months of Mark's manipulative behavior at work, Sarah finally reported him to HR with documented evidence of his idea theft. Mark's response was swift and terrifying. He sent her threatening texts, showed up at her apartment, and told her he would make sure she never worked in marketing again. He also threatened to tell everyone that she was mentally unstable and that he had been protecting the company from her incompetence. Escalation happens when the manipulator feels cornered. They've lost control of the narrative and their other tactics have failed. This is actually a sign that you're winning. They wouldn't escalate if they had other options. Marcus Aurelius faced literal death threats as emperor. He wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." When someone tries to intimidate you, they're trying to make you react to future possibilities rather than present realities. Seneca, who lived under the unpredictable and dangerous Emperor Caligula, wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Sometimes the intimidation is actually the signal that the toxic relationship is ending. Don't negotiate with terrorists. This is modern wisdom that aligns perfectly with Stoic principles. When someone escalates to threats, you don't reward that behavior by backing down. Document everything. Keep records of all threats and intimidation. This isn't paranoia, it's practical wisdom. Involve authorities when appropriate. The Stoics believed in using social institutions when they served justice. Don't hesitate to involve HR, legal authorities, or security when facing real threats. Stay calm and rational. Your calm response to their escalation is often the most powerful tool you have. It demonstrates that their intimidation isn't working. Use the discipline of desire. Desire only what you can control, your own actions and responses. Don't desire for them to back down or see reason. This is crucial. If you feel physically unsafe, take appropriate precautions. The Stoics valued life and understood that sometimes wisdom means removing yourself from dangerous situations. Psychologists call this an extinction burst. When a behavior that used to work stops working, it often gets worse before it gets better. The escalation is actually proof that your new boundaries are working. Conclusion and call to action. We've covered 7 tactics that bad people use when they realize you've seen through their mask. Gaslighting and reality distortion. Playing the victim. Love bombing and fake remorse. Projection and deflection. Smear campaigns and reputation attacks. Triangulation and divide and conquer. Escalation and intimidation. The Stoics faced all of these behaviors 2,000 years ago, and their wisdom remains as relevant today as it was then. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." When someone reveals their true nature through these tactics, they're actually giving you a gift, the gift of clarity. You now know exactly who you're dealing with. Your job isn't to change them, fix them, or make them acknowledge their behavior. Your job is to respond with wisdom, maintain your integrity, and protect your peace.